We live in a noisy world. And I don't just mean the cars, the phones, the constant hum of activity. I mean the noise in our minds, the endless stream of thoughts, worries, doubts, and distractions. The mental chatter that never seems to stop. We wake up and the noise begins. Notifications, emails, news alerts. Then come the opinions from people we know and people we've never met. Then we dive into tasks, deadlines, responsibilities. All of it comes rushing in before we even take a deep breath. And when we finally try to rest, the noise is still there, just quieter. That inner voice reminding us of what we didn't do, what we should have said, what might go wrong tomorrow. This is what the Stoics warned us about, not just external chaos, but the internal kind. Because they understood something we've forgotten. Peace doesn't come from the world around us. It comes from the world within us. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in crisis. He could have been overwhelmed by politics, war, and power. But instead, he carved out moments of silence, to reflect, to write, to return to himself. He wrote in Meditations, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul." That's the place we're trying to reach, not by escaping the world, but by creating silence within it. And the good news? Inner silence is not something you're either born with or not. It's a skill, it's a practice, and it can be developed step by step, day by day. In this video, I want to share what that practice looks like. Simple habits, Stoic insights, and the daily discipline of making space, not just around you, but inside you. Let's begin with the morning. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones. Their minds are pulled into emails, social media, messages, a flood of other people's thoughts, opinions, and expectations. Before they've even taken their first conscious breath, they've already lost connection with themselves. The Stoics approached mornings very differently. They saw the morning as a sacred time, a moment to reconnect with reason, virtue, and purpose before being pulled into the chaos of the day. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, writes, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This isn't just poetic. It's practical, because that kind of reflection brings you into the present. It reminds you, you are alive. You have agency. You have a mind. And today is not just another obligation, it's an opportunity. Practicing inner silence in the morning starts with creating space. Before the phone, before the world, just sit. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a few minutes of stillness. Sit quietly. Feel your breath. Let your mind settle. Ask yourself a few Stoic questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? What challenges might I face? And how will I choose to respond? What is in my control today? And what is not? You might journal these reflections or just hold them silently in your mind. But even 2 or 3 minutes of this kind of silence can shift your entire day. You're not reacting to the world, you're preparing for it. And in doing that, you're reclaiming your mind. Because inner silence is not just the absence of sound. It's the presence of attention. It's being awake before the noise arrives. Even if you start your morning in stillness, life eventually gets loud. People demand things from you. Deadlines pile up. The phone buzzes. You get stuck in traffic. Someone says something that triggers you. That's life. And the Stoics never pretended we could escape it. In fact, they taught us to embrace the unpredictability of the world, to accept it as part of nature. But they also taught us this. No matter what happens around you, you still control your inner state. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." So even in the middle of a busy day, you can return to silence, not by escaping the noise, but by changing your relationship to it. 1. Pause throughout the day. Set a reminder. Every few hours, stop what you're doing for just 1 minute. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Let your mind land. No judgment. No agenda. Just a short return to yourself. These micro-silences are powerful. They're like small resets, moments where you stop being pulled by momentum and come back to awareness. 2. Reduce unnecessary input. Not all noise is physical. Much of it is informational, social media, constant updates, group chats, background music, even podcasts. Silence isn't just about muting sound. It's about choosing what deserves your attention. Try walking without headphones, eating without scrolling, sitting without filling the silence. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where silence begins, when you realize how dependent you've become on distraction. The Stoics believe that clarity only comes when the noise fades. 3. Speak less, but with intention. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." We often talk just to fill space, to react, to be heard, to prove something. But Stoicism invites us to use words wisely. The practice? Before you speak, ask, is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it true? Is silence better? You'd be surprised how often silence is the better response, stronger, clearer, more dignified. In the chaos of the day, silence isn't always about stillness. It's about centeredness, a quiet confidence, a calm presence that no one else can shake because it comes from within. And like any skill, the more you return to it, the more natural it becomes. Inner silence isn't the absence of action. It's acting from a place of clarity, not compulsion. There's something sacred about the end of the day. The world slows down, the noise fades, and you have one last chance, before sleep, to return to yourself. The Stoics saw the evening not just as a time to unwind, but as a time to reflect, to review, to face themselves honestly. Seneca, in his writings, described a daily habit. Every night, he would sit alone and ask himself, what bad habit did I overcome today? What did I do well? What could I have done better? This wasn't about guilt. It wasn't about self-criticism or perfectionism. It was about growth through awareness. And that's what evening silence can offer you. Space to look inward, gently and honestly. 1. Journaling as a mirror. You don't need pages of writing. Just a few quiet minutes with a pen and paper. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Did I live according to my values? Where did I react instead of respond? What can I forgive and let go of? This kind of reflection brings closure. It tells the mind, the day is done. I've faced it. I've learned. Now I can rest. Without it, the mind keeps spinning. Thoughts loop. Regrets echo. Tomorrow's worries rush and before today has ended. But silence, especially the silence of writing, has the power to empty the noise. 2. The ritual of unwinding. Turn off the screens. Dim the lights. Do something simple, slow, and intentional. Drink tea. Read a few lines of philosophy. Breathe deeply in the dark. This isn't about being productive. It's about reconnecting with the part of you that doesn't need to do anything to be at peace. Because that's what Stoicism teaches. Your peace is not earned, it's remembered. And silence helps you remember it. As you end your day, don't chase noise. Don't numb the discomfort. Let it rise. Let it settle. Let it go. You are not your mistakes. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind all of it. And that awareness is always quiet, always still, always there. That is inner silence. And every evening, you get to return to it. Let's be honest, silence doesn't come naturally in today's world. We are conditioned for stimulation. We fill every gap with movement, sound, information. We scroll when we're bored. We talk when we're anxious. We react before we reflect. But silence, true, inner silence, is a discipline, not a luxury, not an escape. A deliberate practice of coming back to yourself again and again. The Stoics knew this. They didn't meditate on mountaintops or retreat from society. They lived in the heart of life, in courts, in wars, in crowded cities. And still, they protected their inner world. Because they understood that power doesn't come from domination, it comes from self-command. And self-command begins in silence. Practicing inner silence is like training a muscle. The first time you sit without distraction, your mind resists. It throws noise at you, memories, worries, judgments. It panics in the quiet, because it's not used to stillness. But the more you practice, the more your mind starts to trust the silence. And that's when you begin to hear something deeper. Not fear, not ego, not noise, but clarity. You begin to think with intention, to speak with purpose, to act with presence. You begin to live like a Stoic. Final reflections. Inner silence is not the end goal. It's the starting point, the foundation for a meaningful life. A calm mind is a strong mind, and a strong mind can meet anything, pain, loss, change, pressure, with dignity and courage. That's what the Stoics believed, not in retreating from life, but facing it fully, with a mind that is still, even in the storm. So start small. A few silent minutes in the morning, a short pause before you react, a reflection before bed, a moment of stillness before you speak. Day by day, these small acts of silence will shape something greater, a life rooted in reason, a character built on peace, a strength that doesn't shout because it doesn't need to. This is the Stoic way. Not louder, not faster, not more, just deeper, just calmer, just clearer. Inner silence. Practiced daily. Lived fully.